Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's me, your host, Joel Simmons, back with another great episode. We're really looking forward to this. The It Starts With Me episode. This is number 3. All right. So we've got a great guest that's going to be on this program today. But before we get to our guest, just want to go ahead and make sure that you all know we'd love to have you all continuously watching and listening into the different videos that we have in the podcast. So you can catch us on Google now, also on Apple, as well as Spotify and Anchor. All right. So you'll be able to catch us there. We're live. We have the podcast there. We also are live streaming this as well on LinkedIn, also Facebook and YouTube. So you got many different methods of watching or listening to this podcast. It Starts With Me. Also, want to just go ahead and remind you, let you all know about our Monday Nights with Mike. All right, Monday Nights with Mike is happening every Monday night at 9 o'clock with Michael Seville, the king of real estate. So please make sure you get onto that and see what he's got going on there. And the Community Beacon, every single Friday at 6:30. Right now, we're in our legacy phase. So we're talking a whole lot about legacy, and we've got some good things that are coming up. So I hope that you're excited. Come on in. Make sure you like, love, and subscribe, follow. All right. So now, what do we have going on here? What are we about to do? We're about to get this great story from a young man who has done wondrous things. He has traveled onto different continents, started his own business at the age of 14. I mean, this guy is amazing, y'all. Amazing. Just wait. You'll love him. All right. His name is Samuel Hoffman, and he has a business. It's called the SCA, Sam's Consulting Agency. He is the owner, the founder, the certified business consultant and coach. Yes, this guy is great. All right, and we're ready to hear a story from him. So without further ado, let's welcome Sam on into the studio.
Hello there, my man. How are you?
Excellent, Sam. It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you again. How has your week been so far?
Well, it's pretty good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what about yourself? How's everything going?
All is going well, just keep on, hammering away at this work that I've got going on, and just really interested in hearing a little bit about you today. Maybe if you got something that you can share with us. So let's jump into it, Sam. You made multiple transitions in your life, and I wonder if you could think, if you had the moment to think about a particular transition that really just kind of shaped your life or changed things for you in such a magnificent way. I wonder, what would that transition be, and what inspired you to make that transition?
Well, as I told you before, I don't come from a very good background. I had a really hard childhood. As I told you, are we talking open, right? So just to make sure I don't say anything.
As open as you like to, my friend.
All right. So as I told you, I was sexually molested when I was around 8 years old. No, 9, something like that. Between 8 and 9. So that is the time that it got really hard for me. I could not actually communicate with my family. I didn't know how to communicate with my twin. I could not communicate with anybody, to be honest. It built up rage. And a few years down the line, my mother and my father noticed there was something wrong, because I was just angry. I was frustrated. I was violent. So, when They took me to a therapist. She felt there was something wrong. So she said, point your rage at something. She's like, if you don't know where it's coming from, do something proactive. She's like, do something you like, do something that interests you. And at that time, I was really into cars. So I was around 14 at the time. So with a little bit of help from some friends, that we would buy the cars and we'd keep them in their names because of course they were older and they had licenses. So we'd keep them in their name, and I would just buy and sell. That was my first business. That's when I started, and it
So
went on.
now remind me there, Sam. I mean, this is obviously you have gone through a lot of healing because you were able to really share that
Uh,
horrific
this,
story.
yes, actually, I'll have to give all the credit to my now fiance, because she was able to actually make me open up in a way and like accept who I am today. Okay, because before her, even I got married by the age of 17 and I got divorced a few years later. I didn't get divorced the sense of being too young. I didn't get divorced because of that, but I had no communication with my wife. Okay, I could not communicate with people. I was really, what we would call friends. I never had. I would think my first real friend would be my fiance, because that she was the first person I actually opened my heart to. So, all thanks to her is where I really got started on my journey. And when I first met her, we were just friends at the time. She made me want to make a difference. So I said, cut the bullshit. I'm gonna find something to do online. I'm gonna find something. Okay. I didn't even know I was going towards the internet at that time. I said I'll look for a job. I actually met somebody online who was an affiliate marketer. His job title was a cleaner for a supermarket, and he's driving a Bentley. So I said, "What the hell
That's
is it?"
interesting.
I said, "What the hell is this guy doing?" He was actually an Indian native. Okay, and he was in an Arab country, which is extremely expensive. Okay, and you see this guy on Facebook driving two, three cars, living the life, wearing a suit. I said, okay, why does it say what was it? Those
Play
guys that actually just put up the shelf, the things on what do you call it,
the
in the
stalker.
supermarkets? Yeah,
It-
stalker. It said stalker by day, entrepreneur by night. And I was
Wow.
like,
Okay.
okay. I said, okay, this guy's interesting, and I got to talk to him. And he wasn't the kind of guy that doesn't give you the time. He said, hop on a call with me, let's talk. And two, three calls later, I ended up signing up for one of his programs. And then, after that, I sort of went on my own way, and I found myself that I didn't really like promoting somebody else's program. So I did go through three, four mentors that are the top, maybe this up to like the fifth best affiliate marketer in the world. They are on the top, but I wanted to go for something different. So that is where I found consultancy, because I have a story to tell. I have, say, like a really hard background. I went through so many different trials, and I want to share that with people. I want to be able to help people who are either were in my situation or have felt the same pain that I have.
So
Because
I got a question for you, Sam, because it
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like
man.
we're talking about you got like two different transitions going on here. So you had
I would say
one
three.
that was that three? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now you had one where you had this really rough childhood and you were abused, and then you met, was that when you met your fiance and went into the
No, I
cars?
met her. I met her years later. What got me to selling cars? Okay, we actually had a nanny at the time. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
she would tell us stories. Uh, this is just, I would say, like fictional stories of men who came from nothing. We would talk about Sindbad and stories of different. We call them entrepreneurs today. Back then, they were called merchants and different things. You would hear these old stories, these old tales. And I was always thinking about how these people came from nothing. They came from war backgrounds. They came from hardcore backgrounds, and they built lives for themselves. And they, they had a certain prophecy of sort from where she came from. Okay, like I was born with a star mark on my back. You got certain like dots. Okay, nobody's body is perfect, so I got like a star shape on my back. And she
Wow.
said this is actually a symbol that where we come from is someone that is meant for great things. She really put that image in my head and was like, I'm special, I will be great, whatever I do I'll be great at it. So it did give me a very big ego when I was younger. So that is how I started my first company.
And that
And
first company was called.
the first company was called Car Corner. Oh man, actually, I called it Car Corner. Okay,
Okay.
and depending on which country I was at the time, I would call it according to that country. It didn't have a legal name because I was literally selling things out of my backyard.
So tell us more about this.
uh, I started with one car. Okay, this was a beat up piece of shit Volkswagen. I got it for, you would say, $400. We took it to my cousin's house. We fixed the engine, and we flipped it basically, and we sold it for say 2,000 and something. Somebody was really interested in the model. So after that, I got two cars, and then we sold them and got four. After we see around the by the time we got 18, my dad's like, these got to go. Put them someplace else. I don't care where. So I was around 16 at the time. So I got involved with somebody who had a used car showroom, and that's where I took it further. Then I actually met my partner. He was South African. Okay. And we took it to a whole new level. We started bringing in Ferraris. We started bringing in Lamborghinis. We start we started bringing in shit you won't believe. Okay,
Oh my
uh,
gosh, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, like wow, and they're all
let me
just
tell
sitting
you
in
let
your
me
front
let me tell
yard.
you what was I went from selling in my backyard to bringing this thing. Okay, now imagine this scenario. My mom tells me, I need you to watch your brother for the weekend. I was like, okay. I show up in front of the house with a car that's worth $150,000, and my mom's like, that ain't yours, is it? Her first word was, "Who did you rob, boy? And when are you giving it back?"
Oh my gosh, wow, that's trouble. That's trouble.
Well, you need to understand, because as I was growing up, I was a lot of trouble for my family because of what happened to me. They could not control me. They tried sending me to my grandmother's to put some kind of discipline. Okay, uh, because no one actually knew where the problem was actually the origination of where the problem comes from. Everyone was having the worst time dealing with me. My
Hmm.
parents literally said, "We don't want him in the house. We don't know how to control him. He's beating up his sisters."
Oh
Okay, and
wow.
I wasn't really beating them. It was just I would trip them down the stairs and say, "Oops, was that you?" I
Oh
was
wow.
terrible. I was
Yeah.
terrible.
And this
There's no
was
word for.
and this
I
was
was
all based off of the
yeah.
having the sexual abuse background.
Yeah,
You just
it
you
was
were raging.
terrible. I was raging out. Basically, I was screaming for help, but no one could see it. I tried anything and everything, and I started smoking by the time I was 14. Imagine. And then my dad's like, "There is something wrong with this kid. This cannot be normal." So they took me to a therapist. I only started opening up after I completed 6 visits. And she's like, "This boy is in extreme pain. How is
Mm.
it you guys haven't seen it?" I think I started going to her 4 years later, and she said he is in pain. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's angry. He's frustrated, and I kept asking her a question, and this scared her. I said, "If I died, do you think anyone would miss me?" This
Wow.
is these are red marks. These are red marks right there. Okay, You know,
So, well, Sam,
yeah,
that's what was going on inside of your mind, right? And then
yeah.
you started your car corner, the car business, and you started doing great things. I mean, you had to be making good money with Ferraris and Lamborghinis.
Yeah, money thing. I actually played the game, okay, because I know I didn't have the money at the time, so I would make a deal with. I got an investor, okay. I'd say, give me this amount, and you'll get it back within a couple of months. So he would just watch what would happen, and he said, you're some kind of shark. He said, why don't you work for me? I said, I don't work for anyone. I just like doing this. So I did it a few times. I did it 4 times and paid him back in full. Then I had my own money for the company, and we did it up till 2013. And that
Hmm.
is when my partner sort of scammed me, because I was actually not in the country physically. I was going to the U.S. I finished my high school, then I went to Manchester University, and he took this time to really mess with the company. And by the time I came, this was the last job I this was the like this was when I first came back. He screwed me over. I first came back in the end of 2012, and he had already embezzled from the company. I didn't notice it at the time, and he told me he's going to go off for a weekend. I said, "All right, sure, I'll take over." He said he'll have one of the assistants bring me the papers. He disappeared before the assistant came with anything.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Oh man.
I looked at the paperwork. Okay, everything was going good. Just say 10 days before the that 10 days before that day, he cleared out all the bank accounts and everything.
So, two questions for you then.
Yeah.
Right. So, one, starting that business and really blowing up, did that help you to overcome the rage that you had inside, or at least
No,
quiet
it
it?
just gave it really, see, when I say rage, it's more of a wrath, to be honest. And it was, let's put it, the from being a loud and uncontrollable wrath, it went into a silent wrath. So I had something to focus on.
Okay.
Okay.
So you refocus your attention. So
Yeah.
then
Uh, so
the
when
second
this
question would
happened,
be the second question would be, after you made that transition, would you consider that to have been the most difficult moment? Transitioning from going from this abusive relationship into a car salesman, entrepreneur at such a young age, and then all of a sudden being robbed,
I
bamboozled.
didn't know what to label myself as. I didn't even know I was considered as an entrepreneur. All I knew, I loved selling cars. I loved the idea of playing with cars, you know? It was a game to me. It wasn't actually business, all right? Like, as I tell many people, I said, do what you love, because that is what will drive you. All right?
Mm.
So this is one thing I did personally. I loved it. There's nothing that compared at the time, because I was a car fanatic. By the age of 7, if you asked me any car, I would tell you its power source, where it was made, and what mark it actually was if you got it wrong. So
Wow.
my uncle, actually, I'll give all credit to my uncle. When I was 4 years old, no, 5. When I was 5 years old, he sat me down and he said, "Boy, study." He brought me all these car magazines. He said, "Okay, boy, study." I said, "For what?" He said, "We're going on a trip." He would take leave for 3 months. He's a lazy guy. He doesn't like to do anything. The one thing he loves to do, he takes that yearly leave, let's say 3 months, 2 months, whatever he gets. He'll go to dealership after dealership and taking those pamphlets and getting those poor salesmen to talk about the cars and everything, and he makes them think that he's so interested, and it's just a hobby. And through the years, I learned about so many different cars, so many different marks. How cars worked, how engines worked, how what kind of tires to buy, what kind of things you can upgrade with. You could like a whole dictionary about cars. So it gave me a drive to go towards that.
Yes.
So
Maybe even an
so
outlet.
yeah. So when it sort of blew up in my face, I didn't have a plan B. I just
Mm.
froze. So up till 2000 and I think 2015 or 2016. I'm not sure, because the years are blurry because I've got bipolar, and I didn't know I had bipolar until 2020. That is when I started taking medication for bipolar. Bipolar, uh, bipolar and thyroid.
Mm.
So it turns out I have thyroid as well. I actually, because from 2013, when all this happened, I was around 72 kg, and
Oh.
from the yeah from the that sort of smack in the face that I got, my weight went up to 195 kg.
Mm.
So 98, 198. Sorry. So that is where it really that is where my life really sunk down, because that weight went up, like, because I wasn't moving around. I became somewhat of a shut-in. So I stayed still for like 3 months, and that is the time it took me to gain that weight.
So, okay, so this is my question.
Yeah,
So, at first, you went from this great deal of rage, and then you found an outlet.
yeah,
In that outlet, you were selling cars, and it was like a hobby. It wasn't even being an entrepreneur, it was just
mm,
doing something that you love doing, and it
yeah,
caused you to refocus your attention. But
yeah,
then you were taken advantage of, and this is like the second major taken advantage of in your life by a friend now. And
yeah.
now you're just like,
We should add one thing.
okay,
At the same time of this issue, I was actually working, okay, and I got cut off there as well.
so there was two things that happened that like sunk you into the deep darkness, you
Yeah,
know. And now we're like, this is like 5 years ago now, and you're at home, you're not moving around, you're not doing anything. What was it then that got you, that gave you the inspiration to like get up and start all over again, to move
getting
through
a
these hard
divorce.
times?
Getting a divorce. That
Okay,
was
so you
step
got a
one.
divorce.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got a divorce. The moment I got a divorce, it was like so much weight lifted off my chest. I was like, look at me. I'm a bum, literally. I said, I am a bloody couch potato. I said, I can't be this. I said, I have worked my ass off. I have 3 degrees. I am not going to be this shit.
Three
So I,
degrees. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
human communication, business management, and uh, IT.
Beautiful.
IT specialist, HR management, and human behavior.
Excellent. Excellent. I mean, wow. I mean, you're obviously a smart guy. You're very articulate. So now tell me more about how you began to transition. So you got, so once you move beyond this bad relationship, obviously, that you had with your first with your wife at that time, getting that divorce, you
I
felt
actually
this.
became suicidal. I got to the point I wanted to kill myself.
Oh
So I
man, so
said,
you're still in that dark spot. You haven't come out yet.
"Oh, that was the worst time. That was, I think, the peak, because she knew about what happened to me as a kid, and she would throw it in my face. Okay, and she would literally make fun of me. So I it came to a point that I went so deep, and she wasn't the kind of person that leaves you alone. If you walk away, she'll follow you.
Hmm.
So I could not take it. Okay, I sort of said, "Okay, I'm done." I just picked up my things and left. It got to that point.
Okay.
Um, the only regret I would say is I don't get to spend as much time with my daughter, because, as where I come from, because she's a girl, she cannot be raised by a single parent, a single father. That is, excuse me. So, as far as that goes, that is my only regret. But getting away from that situation and just cutting it right there, that was my best decision yet, because
Okay.
it opened my eyes to a great opportunity. And that was, like, as I said, think of myself first. That was step one. Okay.
Okay.
and I had to take a really deep look at myself and see where was I as a person. First of all, where was I in my life? Where did I stand in a community even? Okay, I had
So you did
lost
like
my
a self-actualization. You
yeah
started to ask
yeah
yourself questions to get to know
yes,
who you really
exactly.
are.
Yeah. First of all, I had lost my name in the community. I didn't have an exist. I didn't have even a like you would say, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't have a like a say a name. For instance, let's try to look at it in that way. Everybody has their own like their own self. Okay, you know who you are as a person, but I didn't have that. I was at a point. Uh, I was completely like done. I didn't know where I was, where I was going, or anything. So I had to take. I did actually. I learned an exercise back then because I was just watching YouTube, trying to find some kind of exercise, and I sort of learned like one of these techniques. You talk to yourself in a mirror, and I did this a few years ago. And actually, a friend of mine, just some time back, she reminded me of this, and she actually gave me more detail about it because you don't find this much information on YouTube. They just give you hints of what to do. She was like, you have to actually talk to yourself as a person, not just as your reflection. You need to talk to yourself as a person and tell yourself you are enough.
Mm,
You are unique. You are perfect in your own way. Everybody is unique. Everyone's perfect. Everyone is beautiful. We are all beautiful creations of God Almighty. So
mm.
uh, when I hear those kind of words, no matter if it's from my friend, no matter when you hear those words, okay, from anybody who says that to you, it makes you feel amazing, okay, because it reminds you you are also human. You are also you also make mistakes, no matter where you come from, no matter what background you come from. We're all human. We all bleed. We're all made of flesh and bone. So if somebody can do something, you can do it. Okay.
Mm,
So that is, I really took that as a really big plus point, and I started looking for a way out. And
beautiful.
especially like, let me clarify this. I had $300,000 on my head in debts. Okay, and that's not a small number, especially if you have nothing. I lost my job. I lost everything. I lost my identity. I lost, like, there was nothing left. I had to start from scratch. So, you know, uh, starting out, I started with nothing. I sacrificed my time, I sacrificed my effort, everything to start. Okay. I borrowed money from friends, from family to actually get mentors and get coaches to help me. Along the line, I met friends, I met people who I can rely on. I would say my best friend today, other than my fiance, would be a great guy who was my first mentor. He's from Denmark, okay, and he's closer. Okay, I've only known him for like 2 years. He's closer than me to me than my own family.
That's
So
powerful.
yeah, he is my first mentor.
That's powerful. So
Yeah.
so then where are you now? Are you successful now? Uh, Are
Uh,
you doing well now?
uh, at the moment, I am. Would say I'm comfortable, but not like where I want to be.
But you're
So as
heading in the right direction? Is that
oh
what you would
yeah,
say?
yes, definitely. Becoming certified was the first step. So now the second step is to actually complete my goal.
Hey,
And I don't know if
hey
I.
Sam, we
Yeah.
got a comment that said family isn't always blood.
Yes, I actually agree with that. Oh, please, I am very sorry, and I did not actually see it. I am very my eyesight sucks.
That's all right. That's all right. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. See, family isn't always blood. I have to agree with that term because growing up, I was really, really not in a good situation with my own family. Um, but like, I have one friend that is now, we have been friends for over, let's say, 12 years. We are like brothers. When you put us together, we act like children because we met each other when we were so irresponsible. If you put us in the same room, even today, we cannot act appropriately. His wife does his best to keep tries his best to keep him away. So it is like one of those friends that you have that is like he brings the fun out of you. So that he's my one and only friend that I've got in my life, to as a friend, as I would put it. And then I've got my mentor that I call him a brother from another mother, if you know the term.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah, because see, let me explain who he is. Okay, he is he's a high ticket affiliate marketer and a coach. Okay, and his normal rating, we were talking about, say, $5,000, 2,000 to 5,000, something between. Okay, he took me on for $20. He took me on for $20. He said, if you can put down $20, I'll coach you. So that was the beginning for me. That he taught me the techniques, the strategies, how to work. I made a few sales on low ticket programs. I got into a high ticket. I learned from those. Then I went and started looking for consultancy programs. And so
Wow.
far, I've completed over a year of learning different programs and seeing, say, a different sort of rhythm in my head.
Sam, I think that that's really impressive. I mean, from all the different things that you've gone through, it seems like you have a much brighter perspective of where you are, who you are, and where you're going. And
Yeah,
on this show, we like to discuss time and chance. And it just seems that, if you keep on pressing to do the right thing, to make the best out of yourself, opportunities will show up. You
mm,
be the real you, opportunity will show up. And if you can take advantage of that opportunity right at that moment, it may change your life completely. And it
yeah,
seems
I
like
have to
you
agree.
you did that.
Let me share a quote with you, but I don't know who it's by. Okay, this quote has been around for a long time.
All right, everybody. I think that we may have had a freezing in the podcast. So we're very grateful to have had Sam on this podcast today. I mean, what a story. I don't know if you all were able to hear this entire story, but I mean, Sam came from a very, very difficult location in his life, and he was able to really, really gather himself together towards the latter end of towards these latter days. I think we might have him back. Let's see if we can get him back to finish his quote.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened. Everything just went black. All right.
You're in here. Let's hear this quote because
Okay.
I think we're getting ready to close it on out. But I want to hear
Uh,
this quote about
all right.
that you wanted to share.
Yeah. It literally says, "Do not forget to be a nice person, no matter the toxic situations you've been in your past." I
Mm,
don't know who actually wrote this quote, but it actually drove me for a lot of years. It reminded me to be a good person, especially even though I went through toxic situations, met toxic people. It still reminded me of who I wanted to be as a person. So that is, it's actually
awesome.
very beautiful.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna go ahead and close on that note right there, Sam, because I love that positivity and that was something to drive you into doing something so great. Yeah, awesome. Do not forget to be a nice person despite the toxic situations that happen in your past. Hey Sam, with your career now, with what you're doing now, do we still have them, Anna? Okay, so uh, we just want to make sure that everyone knows you can reach out to Sam. He is a business consultant and he also is a coach. He does some great work and helps people out. He knows a lot of things about digital marketing, etc. All right, we got Sam right there. Come on, Sam, and just let the people know exactly what you do. And we're going to close on out of this show. So tell them what you do and how they can reach you. All right. So Sam, we lost Sam. The connection's really bad. So we're just glad that we were able to have him. Listen, the information is going to be in the description. Just remember this: Sam went from rage to somebody was able to help him get through that by image loading. They were able to give him a whole lot of stories that loaded images into his mind, his thought process, that helped change his mindscape. Remember, if you're out there and you're having difficult situations, then there's a lot of things that may be able to help you. And maybe that image loading is a thing for you. So dig into those books with positive endings. Don't read into those books that are negative. Stay away from the movies that are negative. But you want to find something that can self-inspire you if there's not somebody that's close to you, like Sam's nanny that was close to him and just loaded him up with positive imagery and taught him what type of person she saw he was. A great individual, motivated, inspired. And then just remember, stay studying, y'all. You don't know what the next day will bring. And though it may be dark, it may be gloomy, listen, don't worry about that. Practice, and perfect practice makes perfect work. So you got to get out there. You got to learn something, whatever you're passionate about, learn more about it, learn more about it, learn more about it. Because one day the opportunity, just like for Sam, may present itself. And you have to be willing to go ahead and say, yes, I'm ready to take this opportunity. I'm ready to do the job. I'm ready to get in there. That's what you need. You need that inspiration. You need that strength on the inside. And then remember this also, that positivity, it's infectious. So tell yourself, just like Sam said, every morning, get up and tell yourself, don't just repeat something. Tell yourself, I am great. I am successful. I am worth it. And mean these things, because that is helping to rewire your mind. It will help you to become the bright star that you are meant to be. Don't look for somebody else, because it doesn't start with them. Remember, it starts with me. It starts with you. It starts with me. All right, we're looking forward to see you on the next It Starts With Me. Take care. Peace.